Welcome, everybody. If you could please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bush. Here. Campbell. Here. Clay.
Here.
Gassé. Latendre. Levesque.
Here.
Motola.
Here.
Nieves Matias. Here. O'Connell.
Here.
Rogers.
Here.
Tedford. Here. Wendes.
Here.
Your Honor, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody here for Citizens Forum? Come on up. We didn't set the table up for you. You want to sit down today? All right. I would have got up and set it up for you, but just make sure you push the button.
How y'all doing?
Name and address.
So,
Name and address.
I don't got an address. I reside in Vernon. You know, I just sent Lisa my thing for registering over and stuff, and sent her under the uniform, you know, the code and all that, you know. But anyway, today I wasn't gonna come because my wife got hit.
I need you to give the name and address because it's in the record.
My name is Gennaro Gonzalez. Now, under the Uniform Commercial Code 308, any contract upon this I do not accept if it's not binding to me under common law, okay? I am in proper persona. I'm not trying to be in my birthright. Birthright is incorporated. Just remember that. That's what it is,
Okay.
okay? Jurisdiction, I learned a lot. This is why this paper here proves under House of Resolution 680 that the Moorish Empire was here before the United States. And this is proof from Congress itself, stating that my ancestors, that the charter was given under the Muslim Moors, so-called Puerto Rico, okay, was given jurisdiction by the Muslim Moors that are the original peacekeepers of America, not the United States. And the first man to prove that was Noble Drew Ali from the Moorish descent. And I've been known that, and he's from the 1800s. But I'm not here for that. I'm here today because Vernon Police Department cost me about $1,400 in one day. Okay? My wife just got smashed. She got hit in Manchester by another vehicle. She had a brain concussion. She's bleeding through her brain, so they gave her 2 weeks out of hospital. I didn't know how to get to work. I gotta be at work at 4. I gotta pay my bills, okay? I told the chief and I told the lieutenant that I have the right to operate. If they want to make it legal, it's fine. But I am traveling to my job. I'm not operating under commerce. I don't use my vehicle for commerce, okay? If I have insurance or if I have anything like that, that is up to me to have if I want to protect the individual. If I do hurt somebody, at least they can get something, right? I think a smart individual will do the right thing, at least to do something like that, right? But I'm not here to debate that. I'm just here because the Vernon Police Department, this is the second time they did this to me, okay? I told Sergeant, whatever, he got a French name, I wrote it down, okay? I would try to explain to them in detail, Mayor. No disrespect, you know? I know that y'all go by a charter. I know you go by a secret code and language y'all speak, okay? I might not like the way to talk like that. I'm trying to speak my own way because I am my own man from God. He created me. I am the common man, okay? Why should I be incorporated? If I challenge this in court, which I should, because they cost me a lot of money. They really, really did. I know I can win in court. I swear to you on my mother's grave and on my father, I will spank that. If your officers have a problem with me, they know where I stay. I wish the Lieutenant Mora was here. but I'm not a punk. You understand? They can take off their badge and their uniform and meet me somewhere. No threat, it's just a promise. I know how to box, I'm good at it. I'm showing off, I'm telling you I'm doing it. I'm swift with my hands, keen, trust. Tell them to stop disrespecting me. I'm trying to live my life. They cost me a lot of fucking money. I have the right under the United States Supreme Court. Do you want the case law? Don't test me. You understand? Please, I ask you, with respect to you. I don't even have enough money to pay my fucking rent this month. And my manager that lives upstairs gave me the money to get my car out. You know how bad I felt? I didn't even cry in front of him. I don't go to your houses because it's not my right. But if the police is breaking the law themselves and you're not doing nothing about it, I have the right to go to your property and contest. Like she doesn't have her address in your website, which she should because that is the rules she accepted. I see she put her address on there. And she didn't have to do that. But I ask you, Mayor, rules by law should not apply and should not be forced to be incorporated so you can make money off my Social Security. It's not cool, Mayor. I lost a lot of money. I did. Just know that. And it hurts me. Straight up. Okay? Lucky I got good managers that give me money to get my stuff and my property out. How I'm gonna buy my kids milk when I get paid every 2 weeks? How does your cops don't even know law. They don't even know what common law is. Some of them don't even know what the First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, 14th Amendment, the contract. They don't know nothing. They only know corporational rules, what to enforce. But if it's challenged upon the United States Supreme Court, you'll lose because it's been proven over and over. Okay? I'm done. Thank you, Mayor. Okay? I'm not nervous. Trust me. All right? I'm smart. I know a lot. I
Thank you, Gennaro.
adjourn, Your Honor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Is there anybody else for Citizens Forum? Name and address.
Michael Winkler, 20 Gaudier Drive. One item, by July 1st, 2023, the town of Vernon is required by state statute to have a fair rent commission. To quote, required to create a fair rent commission pursuant to section B of this section, shall adopt an ordinance creating such commission on or before July 1st, 2023. Not later than 30 days after the adoption of such ordinance, the chief executive officer of such town, city, or borough shall 1, notify the Commissioner of Housing that such commission has been created, and 2, transmit a copy of the ordinance adopted by the town, city, or borough to the Commissioner. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else for Citizens Forum? No? All right, I'm going to close Citizens Forum. We're going to save the executive sessions. I got a couple things on the mayor's report. First one, and a few of us were there the other night, Monday night, the Vernon Fire Department held its annual awards ceremony to honor volunteers and town residents for life-saving acts and heroism. A large team of firefighters were honored for their response to the massive mill fire on December 12th on Brooklyn Street that destroyed the structure. It was the largest fire in Vernon in years. Also among those receiving awards was 8-year-old Mason Mendez, who is now 9, who saved the life of a classmate who was choking on a piece of candy. Department members were also honored for their decades of service to Vernon. The following annual awards were announced. The 2022 Junior Firefighter of the Year was awarded to Annalisa Gerard. The 2022 Firefighter of the Year went to Engineer Connor Raymond. And the 2022 Fire Officer of the Year went to Lieutenant Spencer Paget. Congratulations to all the recipients, and a special thanks to all the members of the Vernon Fire Department for their service to our community. Empower Vernon is a new resource for residents to learn how to save money on their utility bills and to save energy. A new page on the town website called Energy Efficiency and Money Saving Resources provides details on how you can save money. You can find it under the About tab on the website. And for people who do not have internet access, they can access the information about the program at the Rockville Public Library and the Vernon Senior Center. Staff there will get you the computer access you need to read the information, and if it is right for you, to change electricity suppliers to save you money. The town clerk's office has transitioned to a new land record system. The land record index is still available on the town clerk page of the website, so you can continue to check activity, but you can now sign up for the fraud alert, which will notify you by email when a document has been recorded on the land records in your name. You know, we're seeing identity theft taking off across this country, and some of it is happening in clerks' offices. This is a tool that you can sign up for and basically be alerted if somebody tries to use your name. If you have a common name, understand that you might get an alert of somebody with the same name, so hopefully you add in your middle initial. It still might not help, but at least you're notified and you can check on it. This is on the town's website? Yes. I believe we're launching it tomorrow. All right. The next edition of the Vernon Voice magazine will be coming out in early April. The Board of Education budget books are on the table this evening, along with the agendas for all the budget meetings. March 15th, 2023, you will receive the town budget books with the color-coded sheets listing the departments and budget numbers. This past week, the Vernon Public Schools held their annual Read Across America program. I know a bunch of us were there. The program was well attended by Town Council and Board of Education members, as well as staff and other volunteers. As mayor, I participated at Northeast School. Many of you probably already know the classroom I was in. Yes, it was my wife's class. The Town Council is invited to attend the Senior Center 5th Anniversary Celebration, April 11th, 2023, 6 p.m. Additional information with an email invitation will be coming. I can't even believe it's been 5 years. That is absolutely amazing. The Town Council is also invited to the Vernon Rockville Little League Opening Day, April 22nd, 2023, 11 a.m., Legion Field. The rain date is April 23rd, 2023 at 11 a.m. Please RSVP to administration at your convenience. That way they have the names when everybody gets there. And that is all I have. And we will move on to the consent agenda. Brian?
Mr. Mayor, motion to move the consent agenda as written.
Seconded by Laura. There's only one item. Are we going to pull it? No? All those in favor? Unanimous. All right, Brian, new business number 1.
No proposed motion.
Right, there's no proposed motion. Is this the... Right, that's later on. All right, so this is an update and discussion relative to the septic system materials for the Windermere Fields property. This is not discussing any numbers or anything or any contracts. This is basically discussing the fields themselves, and we do have Sean Gately here to help answer any questions. There was a question about perk tests and the lack of that information. I do want everybody to understand that, you know, this property is in the town of Ellington that we own, and we had to follow the planning and zoning and inland wetlands and all that according to the town of Ellington. So it's a little different than we handle stuff on our own property. Sean, you want to come up? But if anybody has any questions, because we did hold this for a week, so if you had any questions, we could do what we can to answer them. Anybody have any questions? Ann?
Yes, through you, Mayor. So I understand that the Wetlands Commission and Planning and Zoning Commission gave their approvals us in 2020, I believe. The hearings were held, meetings were held. Is that correct?
That is correct.
The approval for the septic system was given pending North Central. They didn't rule on it. They approved the plan with holding off on the decision pending the North Central Conservation. They made their own decision, but it was an approval pending the North Central Health District
Correct.
approval of the septic system. Is that right?
That's correct. As you know, Ellington shares the same health district as we do.
Right. And so, did they give that approval?
The health district?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Yeah, through the mayor.
I saw something in the information that was handed out, but it wasn't signed by the health. There was a signature there, but it was not the health district woman. And also, I didn't see any perk test data.
The perk test data was all supplied to the health district. They were present when we were doing the
Perk test.
perk test itself. And then they approved the design and signed off on the septic system.
Okay. So that was a contingency of the wetlands.
That was one of their
approval, as I know.
stipulations which we would have had to have
What's the word?
done anyhow. Obviously, if Ellington had their own health, department, then they wouldn't have said North Central. They would have said the design. So on the plan set that was designed was a site plan. It had no data behind it, as you would know. So the data was done. So the design was done after the septic system was. Let me rephrase. The septic was put down two-dimensional on a piece of paper. Once the design was completed and submitted to the health department, they approved it with the perk data. I think that, I might be missing the question because.
And the information, including the perk test information, has been on the website, on the town website since at least February 7th? February 7th.
Oh, all right. I didn't see the perk test information.
It would all be in the RFP for the, that we're currently out for right now.
Right. But what I do understand is that the soils there are poorly drained soils. Isn't that correct?
No, they drain very well.
Well, town planner told me it's poorly drained soil there, so.
Who said that?
The Ellington town planner?
They were part of this.
But I think that's in looking at the site plan map.
Yeah, so there's portions of the site. So a good portion of the site has a designation, and the designation exists because the Hockenham River, probably predating everyone here, used to go through the middle of the site. So that was changed probably centuries ago. So the soil, which has been farm soil, and does drain very well, and there's plenty of gravel on site. So depending on the thickness of the field, there's plenty of gravel underneath it. The field 4 all the way down probably does not drain as well, and that's one of the fields that we're not doing any real construction in because of it's in the floodplain itself.
So were soil tests taken to define the soil type?
Yeah, so we had wetland scientists go out, delineate all the soil.
It was all outlined? All right.
Yep.
So I don't know why she, at any rate. And the floodplain, it's in the floodplain? Or is you're uncertain where the 100-year floodline is?
Field 4 is in the floodplain. Everything else where the septic system is outside the floodplain.
It's outside the floodline? Okay. Thank you. I guess I still, for myself, have a problem with putting the septic system in this area that's this close to the river. It's just in this age of thinking about sustainability, climate change, and where we're headed with storms that are beyond what we currently experience. I just don't think it's a sustainable action to put the septic system there. I guess I'd like to know what particularly if there's an option, and the option is to hook up to the sewer, and I don't understand why that's so difficult, or is it because we need to put in, I understand the field is lower, is it because we need to put in pump it out? Put in a pump station? If we have, it's one thing to do this, but we've got a choice.
Mayor, I can,
Basically, Ellington basically made that decision for us.
yeah, so this site has been removed from Ellington sewer service area, so there was no choice for us.
Oh, this is the only choice.
So they told us that we would design a septic system, and that's why it was a condition or a stipulation.
Oh. That's very interesting. So this is the only choice, then, is to put the septic system in,
Yeah, well, Ellington made the decision because it's obviously in the town of Ellington.
right? I don't have any problem with the fields itself, with the soccer fields. I just find it hard to, without knowing and understanding why it's that close to the river and in this kind of an area that they approved it in this place. But
I'm actually surprised you didn't show up at the zoning meetings in Ellington. I mean, a member of your party was actively lobbying against the field during this time. And so I know you were part of the original on this, and I was surprised that if you were so against it, you weren't
I'm not
part of that
against it.
meeting. I'm talking against the septic.
Well, yeah, I didn't understand that there was a septic system going there. I had thought when we originally talked about it that we were hooking up to the sewer system.
That's what I was hoping, but
That's what, so I
we
was
were
very
taken out of the
surprised
system, so,
when we heard at the last meeting that all of a sudden the septic system appeared, and
right.
the hearings were held, they were Zoom meetings, and I remember attending, I listened to them after the fact on the Ellington website, so I didn't catch the fact that it was a septic system going in. Well, I just find it kind of upsetting that it is that we have to do that. But I understand that it's the only alternative. And I think in balance and weighing everything, the time of year, it's probably not going to be getting that much use because it's seasonal. The kids are going to want to play there. It's going to be field. So when you weigh everything, I think I still can't, for myself, I can't approve it, but I think you've gotten all your permits, you've gotten everything that, if you all want to, that's fine with me, approve it. I don't have a problem with that, but I just can't because of my personal goals. I can't support putting a septic system there.
Okay,
Thank you.
welcome. Any other questions? Marianne?
Since I was mentioned,
You were
septic
mentioned?
box size.
I didn't mention you.
You indicated me. Okay, septic box size, is it planned for future use? Because I see another plan for a bathroom, another one? Going to be able to hook in, or?
There's 2 bathrooms under the construction. This was planned for both the bathrooms. So there'll be a bathroom up at Field 1, and there'll be a bathroom down near 2 and 3. There will not be any other bathrooms besides those.
Okay. You mentioned gravel on the site. You're talking underground right now, because what I see on top is topsoil.
Yes,
No?
through the mayor. So the topsoil was stripped off, the field was shaped, so the gravel beneath it was shaped to make sure that the field's drained properly. So there's plenty of gravel on the site.
I guess that's it. I mean, you know, it's already planned, and as long as that material is going to take into account that we're going out to a contractor for this property, so I just want to make sure they have all the materials they need and can use what materials we have.
John?
Mr. Mayor, I think that, as we've discussed previously, that these soccer fields are going to be a feather in the cap for the town of Vernon, for the youth of the town of Vernon, for the adults that are interested in youth sports and interested in the town. It's something we should all be very proud of. Now, as a consequence of humanity, I guess, when there's large crowds of people, waste management waste removal is an issue that is going to be incumbent upon these fields, or go along with these fields, obviously, because that's a fact of life. So I trust in our town administration and the people that we have hired to do these jobs, be it the town planner or be it our various town engineers. And I'm sure the town of Ellington trusts in their town engineer and their town planner and anybody else that was involved in a professional capacity in doing the necessary studies, in doing the tests. And I, for one, am going to trust the science here. I'm going to trust the science of the tests that were done. I'm going to trust the experts that we have hired to do these types of jobs. And I think if they say the septic system is safe for use, and I think the town can rest easy that it's safe for use, if that's what our experts who we pay money to do these jobs, if that's what they have determined, and that's what the experts of the town of Ellington have said, I would reason to guess that that is a very safe system which will provide years of use with the glory that these fields literally will bring to the town of Vernon. And I would trust the tests that have been done and trust our experts and go with the plans as they currently exist. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anybody else? Marianne, for the second time.
Do you have, do you have on that septic system life use? How long will it last?
30 years with very limited maintenance and longer.
If we're lucky.
Well, no, and I'll refer, I've never designed a septic system, but our town engineer has done it for 40 years.
You ever-
And he has assured me that this is going to have a very long and
life.
and healthy life.
Okay. I would, sometime in the future, I would love to have an itemized list on this field, the cost projects, and where we are right now with it. Thank you.
You know, a lot of it's still in the process. Okay. I mean, in August, we should be at a point where most of it's there, and you'll have that list, okay? All right. Ariana?
Thank you, through you. So based off of the conversation that we've just had, I wanted to have a point of clarification. So when we originally purchased this property, were we aware of the stipulations that the requirement for the use of the restrooms was going to be septic? Was that something that we knew prior to getting into this? 'Cause
I don't
feel
think, I don't think so, because when we bought it, we had the understanding that the sewer line was in front of the property. So that was the thought that was happening. We didn't know until we actually got into this that they had basically not had the sewer line open to us.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to clarify, because I was very much under the impression that we had the option of sewer hookup and/or septic, depending on how we assess the situation. So wanted to have that point of clarification as to exactly when in this process we learned that septic was the only viable option.
Well, if you remember correctly, in some conversations that I've had in the past, I actually thought we were doing sewer, and that was I was corrected on that. So it was probably, let's just say I think I was not on the front of the line for people that knew that. And I've been pretty much directing this project.
And one last point of clarification, seeing as we technically own that property, is there any negotiation available with the town planner of Ellington to assess what it would look like to hook up to their sewer? If for whatever reason the septic system were to ever fail, is that an option that we have?
It's not part of the site plan.
So through the mayor, during the design phase of it, when we first approached them on the sewer, they had told us that sewer was no longer available. They removed it from it, and they encouraged us to look into the septic because sewer was not an option. So with that being said, if the mayor's office had asked us to I was going to say beat this to death, but that's probably not the most thing. We've evaluated every angle and whether or not we have an opportunity to connect to the sewer, even in Vernon. There's pumps involved, there's a variety of other things. But first and foremost, we would need permission from the town of Ellington to re-enter the site into the sewer service area. So the quick answer is it everything's possible in the grand scheme of things. They had told us that's not an option for our design. We needed their approval for this, so we designed a septic system.
Thank you so much. In understanding that they are the overall approver of any plan that we put forth, is there any other special contingencies that you see arising in the rest of this plan and finalizing it for use?
No.
We're sure?
None has been brought to my attention, and we've basically gone over everything else now.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was the approval process.
Anybody else? No? Okay. Well, Terry.
Through you, Mayor. I'm not sure if this is a correct question or not, but who is going to assume the cost of the septic being put in place?
The town of Vernon's paying for it.
The entire thing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. It's our property. Brian?
I just have another question to whomever. Every time some kids are playing there, the bathrooms will be unlocked and available?
When the sports teams are there, yes.
Sports teams,
Yeah.
but if somebody's just,
If somebody's walking through the park and it's not, we don't leave them open because obviously criminal mischief is a problem.
so if,
Same as all of our other parks.
so if some kids from the neighborhood, walked over the fence and played soccer on the field, there's no restroom for them to use anyway?
No.
Okay, that's always curious. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? All right. Brian, new business number 2. Thank you, Sean.
Mr. Mayor, the town council hereby authorizes the hiring of 2 additional full-time EMT positions for the Vernon Ambulance Service.
Seconded by Mary Ann.
And what's in Sean's container?
That is water.
Sure, I say that in work too.
We used to have somebody that used to visit us regularly that didn't have water.
I said to my boss, you think there's coffee in here, don't you?
Yeah. All right. All right. So the motion is exactly as it sounds. When we authorized the hiring of full-time EMTs last year, one of the things that we said is we wanted to keep an eye on the amount of calls, we wanted to keep an eye on the costs and make sure that we can afford what we're doing. We also had a subcontractor that was supplying EMTs for us. And due to hiring difficulties, we've been not getting what we wanted from the subcontractor. And so we are coming forward to hire 2 new EMTs. And just to give you an idea, the subcontractor we pay approximately $151,000 a year to, and the 2 EMTs would cost us approximately $150,000. So it's almost a wash on that part. And as they're going to give us a demonstration. You know, the contractor has not really given us any help. Was it about a month and a half? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to let you guys give your opening statements. I know I jumped in on you a little bit, but go ahead.
Not at all. Thank you, Mayor. Through you. Folks, just a little bit of background. It was a year ago that this council and the mayor approved the hiring of 8 full-time EMTs for the town of Vernon. Once the hiring process was complete, the new staff started in around July 25th of 2022. Around that time, after studying our call volume, it was determined that we needed a third ambulance on as well. Our call volume, just to give you an idea, and I know you've heard me say this before, total calls for the year 2022, just EMS calls, was 5,390 calls. I know. It's a 10% increase over 2021. We've steadily gone up about 10% every year. So the decision was made at the time as a cost-effective measure to bring on a third-party contracted service to provide us with a third ambulance 4 days a week during our peak hours. That ambulance runs Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. As some of you may or may not know, there is a state and nationwide shortage of emergency medical workers, which is why the council moved toward getting us to full-time staffing. So we are not immune to this. They brought on staffing, and during the time period that we were running the third ambulance on a daily basis, we were able to reduce our dependence on mutual aid calls from other communities by about 46%. We dropped over 300 calls that we weren't capturing before by having this third ambulance on all the time. But once again, we're not immune to shortages in employment. And our consistency with this company has been spotty over the last 7 or 8 weeks. They haven't been able to provide us with consistent staff, which has left us short. We're very fortunate that January and February historically are slower months for us, but we are going into a busier time of year. So we're asking the council to approve 2 full-time staff EMTs for the town of Vernon, which we believe would give us a greater control over scheduling, greater advantages in training, software development, and also collection rates by capturing those calls that we have been missing over the last year.
Okay. Anything else? Would you like to add as the new person in charge down there?
I think he's covered most of the bases appropriately, and I'm happy to jump in.
Just took the easy way out.
Katie wrote a lot of this for me. I just am the mouthpiece tonight, so.
All right, questions? Mike?
Through you, Mayor. So the company that we have contracted to fill in for us during the busy times, you had stated that they're spotty at best. Have we been withholding payments from them for breach of contract?
So we have recently stopped payment. The agreement that was signed with this particular company changed from when we originally signed the first contract about a year ago, and that was that we were paying them a month in advance. Since then, we have stopped payment, and they actually, we have a fund balance with them at the moment, and we've made them aware of that.
Thank you.
I got to say something quick. I gave you the wrong numbers. I knew it was $1,000, but I was off by, the third-party contractor is $153,920. The 2 full-time Vernon EMS staff, including benefits, is $152,880. Still $1,000, but I screwed it up a little bit. I can't remember every number.
Can I follow
Mid-budget
up?
season.
Can I follow up with a question?
Yeah,
Real
you're still on.
Sorry. Now, say we approve the hiring of the 2 full-time, I realize we have 2 ambulances that we put on order that we're waiting for, but will we be able to break this contract with that company without any penalties?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I have discussed it with the mayor, the town administrator, and we will put it through our council. But I believe we have enough justification at this time to break the contract due to the fact that we're not getting the service that we signed the contract that they were supposed to provide.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Mary Ann?
How many teams do you have already running of our own people?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So our current staffing level, we have 20 part-time EMTs that work for the town and 8 full-time EMTs. The 8 full-time EMTs man the 24-hour truck around the clock. The second truck, which is staffed currently by part-timers, runs from 6 a.m. to midnight every day, 7 days a week. The third truck that we were contracting for was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., which we found to be our peak times. Wednesday, the truck is not on the road. That is our preventative maintenance day because we only own 3 ambulances, so we rotate them through with Public Works to make sure they're serviced and we get longevity out of them.
Okay, it's through you, Mayor. These two people will accommodate those 4 days?
Yes, it's a 40-hour position.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. And as you guys know, we have 2 ambulances on order. When they come in, we will have a 4th ambulance available, but the backup is atrocious. Laura?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So do you feel that bringing on these new staff would cover our town better because of the spotty service from the other company? Would we have better coverage for our residents?
The answer to that is yes, because they've showed me the graph of since the company stopped providing, and you can just see the drop in the number of calls that we're able to get to because of that, the missing 3rd ambulance. So I think you guys said we're expecting an extra 300 calls we'll pick up with the 3rd ambulance?
That's correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
That's a win for the town, so I would totally support that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody else? Ann?
Yes, I just was going to make a comment. Last July, I had the unfortunate need for an ambulance, and they were apparently very busy, and but within 20 minutes, an ambulance arrived, and it was the Manchester group, and they were great, but I can really understand that. You're on overload, and I know you're getting a lot of calls, and so no matter what the situation, it was a good experience, even though it wasn't all the way around. But I was very impressed by the staff that came and helped, and everything turned out okay. But thank you for what you do. Thank you.
You know, I think you were on way back when I was on the town council, and we actually started the paid ambulance. Were you on when I was on the council?
On where?
On the town council, when I was a member of the town council?
No,
before
no.
Mayor?
No, Dan. The first time I was on was when you were mayor.
Oh, okay. When I was on the town council, I was really pushing, and that's where we actually started this whole process of actually paying members, not full-time, but part-time. And that's where we actually started seeing the calls starting to increase, and you know, we knew it someday we were going to end up at the point we're at today. But I don't know what it is. When you get one call, it's like all of a sudden you get 11 calls at the same time. And I don't care how many ambulances you have, you just can't go to every single one. And it's this phenomenon that I knew as a police officer, and I think it still carries on today. Not every single one, but you get this rush. And it happens in other towns too, and that's why we all back each other up. But it's an interesting thing. I don't know if they listen to the scanner and say, oh, time to go. But, all right, anybody else? Nope, let's start over here.
Hey, just a question for Katie. How's it been going for you, and are you excited about if it is approved for the 2 new full-timers?
Through you, Mayor. It's been going very well. I have a great team working behind me and in front of me to kind of help support me through this new transition process. What I can say is I would be thrilled if this was passed. I know that speaking to my crews, I know that they have a lot of loyalty to the town, to the people they serve, and to their community, and they understand that bolstering Vernon EMS, since these people care about their town and care about the people that they serve, I think adding more of those people who share their same values would be a wonderful addition to the team, and I'd be very, very happy to see it pass.
Sorry, through you, Mayor. Will you be part of, I'm sure you'll be part of the interview process for this?
Through you, Mayor, I would absolutely be participating in the process. Where we would find the additional staffing, there's a good chance that we will hire from within to kind of help bolster that and again continue the trend for people who do care so passionately about the town. But if we hire from outside, I would absolutely be involved in that process to make sure that we get people who embody our values and mission.
Cool, thank you.
Absolutely.
It's nice when you hire part-time people that already know the town, have been doing the job for a long time. Makes the training so much easier. Ariana.
Thank you, through you. Really glad to hear that you're excited for this. And if this were to pass, what is the timeline you anticipate of getting 2 individuals in this role?
I think that one would be aimed at me. So the timeline's going to pretty much be immediately because we're not going to take a financial hit because we're breaking the contract with the other company. So there's not a financial difference here. We're going to end up moving straight forward into seeing if we can get these 2 people onboarded so that we can capture those extra calls. And when I mean capture extra calls, what I mean is this is all public safety, getting to people as fast as we can and getting to the medical facilities that they need to go to. So.
Yes, thank you. And I'm very glad that we're going to be supporting our community. In terms of the potential hiring within, is there opportunity to replenish those part-time staffers? I know that you had mentioned difficulty kind of keeping folks in this current role outside with a contract. How are those sort of contingency plans in place and how are they going?
Good.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we have a ongoing recruitment and retention program. We have open applications online, and we do regular interviews. Unfortunately, we used to get, 30 people interviewing for the job. Now we get, 3 or 4 people interviewing for the job. I will tell you, we are picky about who we hire. We have a stringent 1 year of experience rule to come here because we are such a busy service, and we put them through a rigorous process. And there is people who don't make it. Because it's a busy service and we believe our citizens deserve the best, we're picky about who we hire. We would hope that we would be able to hire from our part-time staff within, as the mayor alluded to, that these people work in our system and can hit the ground running. But again, I think we have several applications. We've been working with Human Resources and are planning on doing interviews in the next 2 weeks for part-time staff.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Brian.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, thank you for taking the initiative to resolve this situation. On the contract question, when does the contract expire?
Mr. Mayor,
Hold
through you,
on.
Mr.
know
Mayor.
what? Hold on. You know what? I want to stay away from as much of that contract as I can.
Okay.
If we can.
So is it, well, okay,
Because
never mind.
we-
Yep, that's okay.
We've got to deal with this on another issue, so let's see if we can stay away from it as much as we
Okay.
can.
Let's not discuss that, all right. 5,300 calls, and the other company was taking 300 of them, so we're going to absorb those?
So just to put this in context for everyone, so we'll use 2002's numbers. From January 1st of 2022 to 7/23 of 2022, we had 627 missed calls in the town of Vernon. Those are calls that other services had to come in to support us. From the time we put on the third ambulance, from July to January of this year, we were able to drop that number by over 300 calls. So we captured 300 calls more that we were giving away before. So that's Vernon ambulance staff treating Vernon patients.
So in total, that time period you stated, we missed about 1,000 calls.
Correct.
Okay, so this should alleviate them. So the money, as Mayor had stated, the money equals out approximately, except for mileage we put on our trucks, right? Because we're going to put a lot of mileage on our vehicles, absorbing those calls.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So even when the third parties, even when we have the third ambulance on in the contracted service, they still use our vehicles. So there will be no
Okay,
change.
So that's a wash. Oh,
It's a
good.
wash.
Oh, excellent. That makes me feel even better. And 2 things. Our collection rate, do we know that? I see Mr. O'Neill in the back there. Is our collection rate good on collecting? And I know we can't collect on a lot of people because some people have no insurance or poor insurance or whatever, but.
At the mayor's discretion, we could turn it over to Mr. O'Neill if you would like for collection rate information. Something I will give you a little history on that we found was that as of January 1st, the collection rate for Medicare and Medicaid patient is gone up by 8%, so we expect to see an 8% increase in what we are collecting. For specific numbers, I would yield to Mr. O'Neill.
So I guess I'm really just worried about the health of the enterprise. So if we add 2 people, the mayor had stated that the money was going to cover, otherwise we're still going to be good because we're picking up, out of the calls we answer, we have a certain collection rate. We're going to get new calls. We're going to make sure that their collection rate is sympathetic so that the fund stays solvent, right?
Correct, that is the plan.
I see Mr. O'Neill shaking his head. That's all I need to know.
Okay.
And then, so that's good. And the other thing, so just like a simple explanation of how come we have so many calls? How come they keep increasing by 10%? Because, if they increase by 10% in 7 years, we'll be at 11,000 and going, we need to add 20 people and buy 17 ambulances, So what's the phenomenon?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I believe it's a shift in demographics as far as our healthcare system in our country. Many more people, instead of going to your local doctor when you are sick, choose to go to a hospital. Hospitals cannot refuse service. If you don't have insurance, you can go to a hospital and be treated. Our population is getting older. We do have many elderly complexes in town who do take advantage of our services on a daily basis. COVID was a big driving force. We thought we'd see the numbers drop, and they haven't. So I think the factors of a changing healthcare system, as well as an aging population, we do some outreach, and we're trying to do more with ECHN to try to educate people in the proper use of using the ambulance as opposed to going to a walk-in center or your personal doctor.
Okay. That's what I was worried about. Maybe with the education, we could stem a few of the calls, so we don't have to miss calls or have other agencies come in. When we go out, we'll have this other ambulance, we'll be going out mutual aid to other towns. Does that affect our collection rate or finances in any way?
So we already do go out to other towns, and in fact, 2 of the EMTs were upstairs in my office, and I was having a conversation with them, and they were stating that, they were handling more calls out of town. So, it's a wash because they come into our town, they help us, we go help them, and like I said, this phenomenon of all these calls coming in at once, it's just a weird thing, but it happens all the time. And when that happens, you do need the help of other people. So, I think if they when they come in here, if we can pick up more calls ourselves, that's where we make the money. But if, we have to pick up a couple more in the other towns than they're doing for us, then we make a little more money that way too.
So I know a lot of my questions on all our town council things are, deal with finance and money, so I don't want you to think I'm some kind of some kind of guy, a Scrooge who goes,
Not at all, Mr. Mottola,
I just want to worry about, I know we can afford it, but you guys do yeoman's work. You're both, all, fire, police, and EMTs, and so as exposed by your award ceremony the other night and the stuff that you guys do and the pictures you had, and recruiting a 7-year-old kid, I can't believe it, but it was very good. But thank you very much, and I'm all in favor of this.
Thank you. I find this to be a good warm-up for the budget meetings coming up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Next week.
Yes, so I just wanted to say thank you for that as well.
That's good, yes. Bagels go a long way, or donuts.
Yeah. Linda?
Thank you. Through the mayor, I like what I heard about the outreach. I'm talking now from a different vantage point of the conversation. And what we're hearing, what we're seeing is that there are a lot more people taking advantage of the service, needing the service. I'm saying that in a very positive way. And so I see that can become problematic if we can't get to all of the calls that we need to. So thinking outside of the box, looking at the process of community outreach, just wondering, has there been any thought given to maybe making presentations at, say, the senior center about, and maybe it's not you, maybe you bring in medical people, about what people can do to either recognize signs or change their lifestyle to stay healthier so they won't need the service. And I realize that flies in the face of the town getting calls and capturing some of the funding. But
We're going outside a little bit, but I will answer your question up to that point. The fact is that the senior center already does that.
In conjunction,
Not within conjunction, they actually have doctors that go down there, they have healthy classes.
Right,
I mean,
right.
they have such healthy classes that, you know, it doesn't matter how frail you are or how old you are or any of that stuff, they have a class for you to work out.
and I understand that.
Yep.
Senior center is one avenue, there could be other avenues. It's just, sometimes it's good to think outside the box and maybe look at the human side of the issue.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Administrator Picaro and I met several weeks ago with the leadership of Eastern Connecticut Health Network's outreach group and brainstormed and put some good suggestions on the table for just that, for their outreach people, their public health educators to actually work in conjunction with our staff to go out to some of the senior housing complexes and put on presentations that would, you know, again, help to reduce the number of maybe unnecessary or lower priority calls. So they've been a great community partner, and they're very interested in working with us on that.
Great, I'm not surprised with your brilliance and the whole staff of what you do, so thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, let's see if we can stay on topic a little bit. John?
Mr. Mayor, just by means of clarification through you, just because I know all my colleagues understand it and everybody in the room may understand it, but to the extent people are watching at home, when some of my colleagues refer to missed calls or calls we couldn't get to, there's nobody that's left unattended. This was a private contractor, and the goal now, should this motion pass, would be that we would take care of these calls in-house, right?
Right.
So there's nobody that's missed.
No, we don't miss calls. Number one, the first people there are the police department, and they are all medically trained. In fact, you know, the officers are exposed to so much of the medical stuff that it's you know, their skill set's really high, and but they may have to wait with the patient for an out-of-town ambulance if ours are busy. But we don't miss anybody, we don't leave anybody behind, and we always have somebody there.
Right, which I just wanted to clarify that we already have an excellent level of service and care for the citizens, and it's only going to get more excellent based on this, and that we'll be able to do excellent care in-house as opposed to with a private contractor, correct?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, it is our goal for Vernon employees to treat Vernon patients.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Minutes?
Were we pulling any of these executive sessions?
I'll discuss that. Let's do the minutes first, and then we'll go back.
Mr. Mayor, the Town Council waives the reading of the minutes of the regular Town Council meeting on February 21st, 2023, and that minutes of said meeting be approved.
Second.
Seconded by Laura. Any corrections, deletions? No? All those in favor? Unanimous? All right. Executive sessions. We are eliminating executive session number 1. We thought we were going to be ready. We are not. So we are not doing executive session number 1. Brian, executive session number 2.
Mr. Mayor, the Town Council pursuant to the authority given in Connecticut General Statutes 1-206D hereby moves to go into executive session to discuss contract negotiations and invites Michael J. Picaro, Town Administrator, to attend.
Seconded by Laura. All those in favor? Unanimous. We'll be back. We're going to start with executive session number 2. Brian?
Mr. Mayor, the Town Council hereby approves the appropriation of ARPA funding in the amount not to exceed $32,000 for the septic system materials for Windermere Fields, and further authorizes Mayor Daniel A. Champagne or his designee to sign any and all documents for same.
Second.
Seconded by Mike, and we'll have some no's here, so I'll count. All those in favor? No? All right, unanimous.
Is it motion 2?
Brian? Oh, Julie's got number 2.
Yep. The Town Council hereby approves the appropriation of ARPA funding in the amount not to exceed $10,000 for the Grand Army of the Republic for an HVAC system, and further authorizes Mayor Daniel A. Champagne or his designee to sign any and all documents for the same.
Second.
I don't know who said that. All right. Laura?
I thought
All right, Laura, fine. Somebody. All right.
No,
Se-
it wasn't me.
What's that?
That was me.
I don't know. Everybody yelled, I couldn't hear it. All right, seconded by Laura. All those in favor? All right. Opposed? Abstain. One abstention. Brian. Number 3.
Mr. Mayor, the town council approves the appropriation of ARPA funding in the amount not to exceed $175,000 for the Miracle League parking lot, and further authorizes Mayor Daniel A. Champagne or his designee to sign any and all documents for same.
Second.
Mike, seconded by Mike. All right, all those in favor? Gosh, I'm losing my mind here, guys. Unanimous. Terry, you're.
Oh, yes.
Yep, unanimous. All right.
Mr. Mayor, the town council hereby approves the letter of intent with Evergreen Family Theater, Inc., to make application for a grant with the Connecticut Humanities Good to Great 2.0 grant program in the amount of $500,000.
Second.
Seconded by Mary Ann.
Did we actually
Should be.
say the money?
What's that?
Do we actually need to say the money?
Yeah, that's the grant we're going for. Okay. So, all right, all those in favor? Unanimous?
Mr. Mayor, the town council hereby approves the 3-year summer wage schedule for the Parks and Recreation Department.
Seconded by John. All those in favor? Unanimous? Oop.
Mr. Mayor, the town council agrees to the full and final negotiated settlement as presented in the matter of Cruz v. Town of Vernon BOE to resolve said claim in the amount of $45,000.
Second.
I'm not done. Once the settlement is executed, it will become public.
Second.
Stay in line.
Terry, seconded by Terry.
I want to
All
go
those in
home.
favor? Unanimous. Brian?
The town council hereby approves the lease amendment with the Academy of Arts and Learning as presented, and further authorizes Mayor Daniel A. Champagne or his designee to sign any and all documents relative to same.
Seconded by Mike. All those in favor? Unanimous. And the last one.
Mr. Mayor, resolve the town council hereby approves the purchase of requested information technology equipment not to exceed $292,572.
Hold on one second. Shouldn't we say out of the fund it's coming from? Okay, all right. All right, we'll stick to what we said. All right,
Dollars.
do I have a second? Second. Second by Mary Ann. All those in favor? Unanimous. Mike, Brian?
Mr. Mayor, motion to adjourn.
Second by Ariana. All those in favor? Unanimous.